Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This is the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again with your host Nick Scopes and the Gregolicious. You know how we do, cause you know we keeping it gangster and silly. Unplugged like a full swung titty. Bout get jitty, cause you know we down to the nitty and the gritty. And we make shit sound so damn pretty. Yeah, cause this unhinged comedy. And right now you're in the mix, so get ready, cause we bout to get it poppin'. And we ain't stopping.
Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again. Yeah, we at it again. Uneducated, unfiltered, unhinged. This the Mangina Dialogues. We at it again. Yeah, we at it again. Yeah, yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Mangina Dialogues. I am your host, Nick Scopes.
And I'm the Gregolicious.
And today, our guests are AJ and Steph from Married at First Sight. How are you guys doing today?
Hello.
Good. How are you?
Good. How do you, first the question we was asked, what'd you think of that song?
I'm dancing right now.
Yeah, I was bobbing my head. Steph and I are both lovers of, late 90s, early 2000s hip hop when it was real and good. I'm from New York myself, so
yes.
it brought me back to that feel. It didn't have that new age,
right?
feel.
That's the best response we've had.
It definitely is the best response we've had. Typically we get, you guys suck or hanging up the phone. But thank you for recognizing the late 90s New York City hip hop scene.
Yeah, that's dope. Yep. That's dope. Are you from New York? You said you're from New York?
I am. I'm born and raised Long Island. Went to college in Connecticut.
Oh, shit.
So.
Very cool.
And I'm from Baltimore, so.
Baltimore. Awesome. I love that city, by the way. Baltimore doesn't get enough credit. I love that city. I think it's great.
It is. It's a little underrated, but we call it Small-Timore. Everyone kind of knows everyone, so.
Small-Timore?
I love living in Philly, let's say that.
Another great city.
I don't like the Eagles.
Oh, no.
Most people don't, so it's okay.
AJ, who's your team?
So really Saturday is my day for football. I'm a diehard college football fan, Florida Gators all day, every day. Being I was born and raised in New York, though, for the NFL, I'm loosely a Jets fan, but again, Saturday is my day to be in front of the TV.
So how do you become a Gators fan growing up on Long Island, going to university in New Haven?
So like I said, born and raised Long Island. After I graduated college, I moved down to Orlando. Being from New York, college football wasn't anything I ever paid attention to. It was always college basketball, UConn and Cuse. So when I moved down to the South, I didn't realize that college football is life. And one of my best friends to this very day was my first friend when I moved down there, happened to be one of my neighbors in the apartment complex I moved into, not knowing anybody. Him and his whole family went to UF. They're diehard UF fans. And it was the end of the Chris Leak era, beginning of the Tim Tebow era. It was very easy to hop on board, very, very energetic years.
Yep.
And I fell in love with it. I didn't have an allegiance to any college team. So it was Florida all day.
That's pretty cool. So did University of New Haven, they don't have any sports there, do they?
No, they do now.
They do?
Now they do. I didn't know what they had
They
back
do
then.
now. New Haven's it's a big lacrosse school.
Okay.
But yeah, I think they're now Division I, but when I was there, I think they're Division 1B possibly now. But when I was there, they were still D2. They were a D2 school because they were smaller.
Right. Well, we don't need to talk about UNH. Unless there's anything about like College Street or anything like that you want to
Share.
throw back some old memories.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
So what about not even Toad's Place? Nothing? You got nothing about Toads?
Oh, Toads, yeah. Lots of, bands there. Lots of going out to Toads, and Alchemy was another one.
Oh my God. Yeah, I remember that fucking bar. That bar. Did you ever go to did you go to Gotham and all that shit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We lived at Gotham a lot. My first time I went to college when I was in Connecticut, we went out and I was all excited. Coming from New York, the bars and everything close at 4 a.m. So you don't go out in New York until midnight, 1 a.m. So I'm in college. I'm 18 years old. I am ready to party my ass off. get everybody together, all my new friends, people I don't know. We all go out. We get to the bar 1 a.m. and I actually think it might have been Alchemy. And
Last
we
call.
get upstairs and we're partying. We had our first drinks. We're in line for the second round, and all of a sudden the lights come on. I'm like, what the fuck? So, we're like, shit, are we being raided? I'm like, I got a fake ID. I'm running for a corner or a fire escape. And then I learned that not everywhere closes at 4 a.m. like New York.
Yeah, you must have been so disappointed. I knew where this was going when you were like, I'm coming from New York and going to Connecticut, because I used to bounce at like our bar in Gotham and all those places back in the day.
Shit, you probably threw me out.
Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. No, did you fight anybody? Because that's the only reason I would throw some.
You would know because Nick wears really tight skinny jeans that are cuffed tremendously.
No, I've never been kicked out for stuff like that. Normally, I'm with the drunk assholes that when they get kicked out, we end up having to leave too because we can't leave our friend to go on his own.
That's perfect. I had the complete opposite experience because I spent the second half of my life in Connecticut, and then I went to go visit one of my buddies who was playing football at Stony Brook. So we went out there in Long Island, and it was like 1:30. I was like, dude, we got to go. Like, bars are closing. He was like, no, they're not.
Yeah. He's like, what do you mean? We got to go out.
And yeah, exactly. And then it was like, we kept walking around. I was like, it's 4. He's like, yeah, they're still open. I'm like, really? This is the best.
Yeah, but what I've realized is that now, I mean, Philly, I mean, nowhere really stays open to 4. New York's, it's its own place. So, yeah. But really, if you go out at the proper time, if you go out at 10 p.m., like normal people, then really nothing good happens between 2 and 4 a.m.
No,
you
nothing.
go from drunk to sloppy. That's, those final 2 hours, you don't really need them anymore.
No, that was the worst part, is when the bar closed and when you had to get everyone to their cars. That's the worst. That's when all the shit happens.
That was before Uber.
Yes, exactly. They're all driving to their car. You're like, they're all about to drive drunk. Everyone. And you're like, oh great.
Yeah.
This is gonna be awesome.
You get the one guy that didn't drink the whole night, so be the plant to stumble out there and act like he's getting his car and drive off, so the cop chase him, and then everybody else leaves the bar.
For real.
Well, that's why you got to do what we did at East Carolina. I went to school at East Carolina, Pirates. And we would order pizza from Papa John's when we would leave the bar, but we wouldn't be home yet. And so we didn't have to pay for a taxi. We would be like, okay, well, pick us up with the pizza at this bar. And the driver would just pick us up and take us home with our pizza.
Papa John's. They don't make good pizza in the South, huh? That's all they had was Papa John's.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
I mean, not for nothing, but I would have killed to have had that pizza delivery job. Picking up a bunch of girls at the bars with a pizza, driving them home.
Some 16-year-old kid.
You were ordering Papa John's in college stuff? You must have been rich. I was eating Helios in the oven.
Still learning things about each other after all this time.
Yeah, still.
And that's what we should get into right now.
So, Stephanie, I have a question.
Good segue right there.
Yeah.
So, do you consider yourself a risk taker?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a loaded question. I hope the answer was yes.
When I signed up for Married at First Sight, my family, they didn't really think I was serious. And then as I started getting closer along in the process, I'm like, actually, I'm still in it. I think it's going to be me. And they're like, you know what? We're not surprised. It sounds like something you would do. Like, no one was fazed by it.
Interesting.
What did you do in your teenage years that didn't faze anybody?
Yes, Steph, what'd you do in your teenage years?
AJ's like, I don't even know about this.
Fast pace, cars, motorcycles, roller coasters, whatever. I don't care. If there's adrenaline, I want to do it.
Okay. All right. What do you do for work? Does this carry over into your professional life?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
In my professional life, I work in finance and accounting. So
oh my God.
I have a job all day, so I go extra hard on the adrenaline when I'm not behind the computer.
You know what? I've actually, just a small sample size of all the people I've met, all my friends that were accountants or in finance, they party the hardest, and they go their outside of work life is wild.
Oh yeah.
So
work hard, play hard.
This 1,000% makes sense. I get it.
So, I mean, obviously this is incredibly interesting to me, how you guys met and where you guys are now and literally every single thing in between that had happened. So I know we can't get too much into the process, but what does that look like for you guys? How do you come to get on this television show?
So I applied. I was a huge fan of the show for years, and I've watched it since season 1. And I heard they were coming to Philly, and I said, "Oh, I'm applying for this." And I didn't realize I would actually make it through the process. But once I got about halfway through, I just knew I was going to be picked. I just had this really weird feeling. So I applied. AJ got in a slightly different way.
Yeah, I did it a totally different way. She applied in. I applied in, but I did before I ever knew that they were in Philly. I don't watch reality TV. I'm not too familiar with it. A friend of mine about 2 years ago, who is her company is subcontracted by the network. She told me about it. She's one of my fraternity brother's wives. She's known me since college for well over 10, 15 years now. And, you know, I've been single for 5 years, and she's like, "AJ, this would be perfect for you. This show, you know, it's legit. Like, it's not some of these bullshit ones like you see, and you should try it out." So just on her word, I kind of went on the website and signed up for it. I didn't know much about it. I didn't know it was city specific at the time. So I signed up, and, you know, out of sight, out of mind at that point in time. I was like, it's reality TV. You know, I'm still waiting to hear back from the VHS cassette that I sent in for Real World and Road Rules 25 years ago, you know? Like, I didn't think I had any chance. And then, you know, in January of last year, which is a year and a half after I sent this in and completely forgot about it, I get a phone call from LA, 10 o'clock at night, LA number. I'm like, I don't know anybody in LA. So I answer it. And they're like, "Hey, this is so-and-so from Married at First Sight." And kind of wondering 2 questions. 1, are you still single? And we still have your application. 2, are you interested in moving forward, you know, with applying for the show? And it was a double yes for me. And that's how it happened for me.
Wow. And then, like, so other question. Do you guys look at the people on, like, 90 Day Fiancé as pussies?
You know, I wish I watched the show. Oh, my old roommate loves it, and she's like, "If you love Married at First Sight, you would love 90 Day Fiancé." I haven't really gotten into it, so I don't really know what the show is like.
I have a.
We get confused a lot. People come up to us, "Oh my God, you're that couple from 90 Day Fiancé," and I don't correct them. I just say, "Yeah." I take a selfie and I tell them, make sure they hashtag 90 Day Fiancé.
No,
you're like, "No, we're not 90 Day Fiancé. We're not pussies."
Yeah.
Okay. God damn it.
So how long did it take from the time that you both applied until the time that it was a go and you're on the show? And then, like, when you get chosen, like, is it like, okay, they say, "You guys, all right, Stephanie, AJ, you're on." Is it the only option is getting married that day you meet each other?
Well, I mean, that is the only option. Once you sign up, then you know this is what you're committing to. But it does take several months. I mean, there's in-depth personality tests and questionnaires, right, and meetings with the therapist so they really know who you are, meetings with the experts so they know who you are. They go into your history, who are your exes, why didn't it work out? I mean, it's months and months of interviews.
Yeah, I had to dissect all my previous relationships, you know, what went right, what went wrong. They were asking me questions that, you know, after digging deep to answer them, I was crying myself to sleep at night. Wow. You know, they're stirring up shit from my past that I purposely forgot about.
You're like, "Oh, I fucked that up. God damn it."
Yeah.
You know, one of the questions that I always laugh at is, you know, do you see people in the corner that other people sitting in a corner that other people don't see in the room? I'm like, what the fuck? Like, even if I did, I'm not going to say yes. I know it's going to ruin my chances at this. You know, I'm going to tell my friend in the corner to sit down and shut the fuck up while I get through this.
That's such a weird question. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of them, but it's, you know, it's a psychological exam. It's similar to like a police exam. If you're taking that, it's 1,600 questions, but it's really same, 8 or 10 questions asked so many different ways. So they're looking for consistency.
Do they go in and like talk to people like that you were in previous relationships with, your family, or is it just straight questioning you guys 1,600 times?
Your family and friends, whoever you bring in who knows you best, they want to hear from them too.
But not like ex-boyfriends.
Not exes. They don't go calling your exes.
That would be a show.
No.
That's the next one.
That would be a show.
I feel like that is a show already.
I'm sure. Every show on Bravo.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
See, Go ahead, Greg.
Nick's got something on his mind.
So you guys get on the show, right? I know you can't get into too much of it. So you basically are you meet and get married like right? That's it. You're just
Yeah, we meet at the altar. So we don't find out that whoever's chosen, you don't find out until about a week before the wedding. So it's between a week and 2 weeks before the wedding, they let you know that you're getting married. That's all they tell you. There's a very short list of things that you can pick out for the wedding. That color scheme that you would like, 5 top songs you want to hear. Do you want it to be rustic or country or indoor or outdoor? That's really it. So wedding planning was a breeze for me. It was 1 page, 8 questions. Love that. And
that's a guy's dream.
Yeah, hell yeah,
Dude,
I was like, this is great. No bickering, no arguing. And
that's great.
So we're allowed 20 guests on either side. So we have to ask our friends friends and family within that time if they can make it, and that all gets set up. And I was literally standing there at the altar waiting and to see my wife, this person, I didn't even know her name. I designed her on paper, right down to physical features, to everything, exactly what I was looking for in a wife. And then the music starts and I see a white dress in the distance coming down and I can't see her. It's blurry because she's coming from far away. So now I'm relying on my boys that are in the very back row. I'm watching their reaction because I know they'll be able to see her first to see what they say, to see what their reaction is.
The Long Island
and I saw signs of relief. Yeah, I was like, okay, if they look relieved, I know I can be relieved before I even saw her.
I could just picture a bunch of dudes from Long Island like yelling out, like, "Dude, she's fucking hot. You're good."
Yeah, they're like, "I'm smash,"
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is my soon-to-be wife. I don't know her, but chill out.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
Calm down, boys. Calm down.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's funny he says that because like when you know you're getting chosen for the show and you've been matched, like AJ said, it's 1 to 2 weeks is all you get. And so during that 2-week time, every time I'm walking down the sidewalk of Philly, I'm staring at every guy. Could you be my husband? Could you be my husband? Could you be my husband? It's like you have no idea.
I wish you were actually doing that, like running up to men and being like, "Are you my husband?"
But like some of the stuff I read about you guys online is you lived close to each other, right?
1 mile apart.
Okay, so
holy shit.
So you guys live a mile apart, hang out in, I think I read the same or frequented the same type of bars or something.
No, a lot of the same bartenders.
Oh.
We figured that we've definitely crossed paths or have within minutes or the same day have been in the same place.
And if we did, we clearly weren't memorable to each other. It was the first time we ever met.
We have friends that are friends. We're only 1 degree of separation, we realized after the fact.
That's insanely wild. So, okay, so you're standing at the altar the way guys do when they're getting married. All her friends, or your 20 people, are sitting there. They must be staring the living shit out of you up and down. Like, do you feel that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was fucking, I think I killed a whole bottle of bourbon before 10 a.m.
Nice.
And all they did was give us was cheese and fruits. They wouldn't even give us crackers to absorb the alcohol because, So I was standing up there and she had a dress malfunction behind the scenes that I knew nothing about. So I'm standing up there at the altar with her whole side of the family staring at me for a solid 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, just on
40 minutes?
And I'm like, damn, I feel like a piece of meat. Normally I like that feeling, but this time I did.
Did they introduce themselves to you? Like, hi, I'm her dad?
I went up and introduced myself to her mother. And her sisters were, I don't remember if they were standing up.
Yeah, they were sitting in the front row.
Yeah, I think I introduced myself to them. I'm glad that my wedding was shown on TV because that's how I remember it. I don't remember it in the moment. I was watching it on TV. I'm like, oh shit, I don't remember that.
So how did that first interaction with her mom go? Like, was it awkward? I mean, obviously it had to be awkward.
Like, what's like the vibe of the wedding? Like, what's like, everyone's like, oh God, or are they like, don't care?
I mean, her mother, I knew to be respectful and, just as I would opposite if it was someone meeting my mother. So I was more worried about her father. Right. This is a man that has to give away his daughter and to an absolute stranger. that's not only a stranger to him, but it's also a stranger to his daughter. So
Right.
I was expecting to sit down with the finger pointing in my face. This is how you treat my daughter. This is what you do. And I was sitting there ready to take it like a man, and actually absorb it. And I introduced myself to her father. He hugged me, and he said, "Let's go do a shot." And that was the beginning of a beautiful relationship.
What's his number?
My
I want
dad
to
is
talk
the
to that guy right now.
Jesus, you're the fucking coolest dad in the world.
Jeez.
Oh my God.
Her dad shut down the bar with my fraternity brothers in the hotel that night. He outdrank most of them. Well, I got a great father-in-law.
Holy shit.
That's how they roll in Baltimore. It's crab cakes and
He's a good one,
cocktails.
yeah.
Again, that
Although I'm
city's
one of
great.
3 sisters, and so deep down he's probably like, yes, the wedding I don't have to pay for.
He's like, we got one off the list. All right.
How do we get the next ones into college?
Yeah. You're all applying. He tells your sisters, like, listen, you're all fucking applying for this show. Okay. I'm not paying for shit. You're all applying. I'm done.
Shit, when we have kids, we're going to make them apply so we don't have to pay.
It's just going to be a whole family. You guys be famous forever. That's cool.
18 years old. Listen, you're going on the show, damn it. I don't care.
Alumni
You're
get
out of the house,
preference.
get married. You're on your own.
Oh my God.
So what? Okay, so then she walks down the aisle. You see her. Obviously, you're relieved. Then you get married, right? So that's
She comes to the altar. The first words that we spoke to each other was introducing ourselves. Hi, I'm AJ.
Right.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Didn't know last names, nothing.
and then you're married.
Then we're married
Okay.
within 10 minutes.
So what's the first conversation you guys had besides "Hi, I'm AJ. Hi, I'm Stephanie"? Like, how does that go?
I'll let her answer this.
You know, I had such adrenaline rush at the time, and then with the cameras following you and the champagne flowing and you getting pulled in a million directions, I really don't remember. We kind of,
that's what I was
when we
going
left
on.
the altar and we went down to our own little section, I remember asking how old he was, because in my description of what I wanted in a husband, I kept saying, someone that goes out all the time. I don't want someone that sits home on the couch, someone who can travel, someone who parties, someone who has a lot of friends. So I was thinking I was going to get paired with someone younger, because I really didn't think they could find someone to fit what I was looking for that was 37 years old. So they did. And so when I saw the gray specks of hair and I asked him how old he was, I was just so relieved that he wasn't 10 years younger.
Right. So it was like it's.
And then
either,
we just started asking, what do you do and things like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we started asking common first date questions, because technically our wedding was our first date.
yeah, of course it was.
This is so wild to me.
And you guys have been together now 2
Oh.
years? It's 2 years?
No, a year and change. September 8th was our 1 year anniversary.
Oh, okay. It's like a year, not even a year and a half. So
AJ, you got to tell them the story about the first week after we were getting married, when we were waiting to go on the honeymoon. We went to that bar in Philly.
Oh, so there was a day in between where after we get married before we leave to fly out to go on the honeymoon. So they kind of put us up in a hotel room by ourselves, just to wait overnight. And we're really not supposed to go out, but at this time it's not public. Nobody really knows who the cast is. So we were starving. We just wanted to go out into a more social setting and talk rather than sit in a hotel room and order room service. So we found a little quiet bar. We happened to be the only two people, and I think we got there maybe a half hour, 45 minutes before it closed. And so the bartender's hanging out, obviously by us, because there's nobody else at the bar. We order our drinks, and we're just having conversation. We're sitting there. We're clearly getting to know each other, asking each other, oh, what do you do for work? What are your sisters? Any siblings? First date types of questions. But now, mind you, we're both wearing wedding bands. So I can see that the bartender, she's listening. And in her head, she must have thought we were having an affair, because how can we both be married with wedding bands and not know shit about each other? So I'm watching her, and she had a kind of like a disgusted look on her face. I get it. So then we start talking about leaving to go on the honeymoon and what we're going to do on our honeymoon. Now she's confused as shit, because she's like, these people are talking about their honeymoon, but they're just getting to know each other. So she's trying to connect the dots in her head, and these fucking dots won't connect for her. And to this day, I guarantee you she's still wondering what the hell that conversation was about and what was going on, because
So
she had no clue.
her face was
Oh my
crazy.
God, I can't.
You
even
guys
imagine.
have to go back there. Like, you have to go back and be like, haha, we were the ones fucking with your mind.
Yeah, I wish I still worked there a year later. Actually, it's a good idea.
You should.
Show
Yeah.
up one day.
I'll go right
I
now.
don't even remember
Yeah,
what she
can I
looks
come
like.
with
She'll
you
probably remember
guys?
us, though.
I'll come with you. Let's
That's
do
definitely something she'd remember.
this for sure.
Yeah.
She's probably still confused. She's like, this fucking people, like, I don't understand. I'm hearing out later.
So
Yeah, 'cause,
now,
I mean, I can get to your fair thing,
yeah.
but then once we started talking about the
A
wedding
honeymoon.
and going on the honeymoon,
She probably thinks you guys were role playing.
Yeah, could be that too.
I don't know. It was very natural conversation. It just flowed. So, and she kept. I think she washed the same glass 8 times so she could hang out right by us and keep listening.
So how after you guys what's the film, like, how long did they film you guys for? Like, not specifics, but
So they
what
filmed
time
us-
range?
Well, it's an experiment. Ultimately, it's a social experiment. We were season number 8. This is done in 21 different countries, different versions of it, and the show.
Oh, wow.
So they're looking for mass data analytics and effectively trying to be able to pair soulmates behind the scenes. So
They film you for about 2 months. It's 8
yeah,
weeks.
sorry,
So
I
week
lost.
1 is when you get married. Well, I guess they like week 0 is when you get married, and then week 1, 2, 3, all the way to 8, they film you moving in together, having your life together, meshing your lives, and then by the final week 8 is the decision day where you have to decide whether you're going to stay married or get a divorce, and that's the grand finale of the show.
Right.
Okay. All right.
And it's legit though. Like you are legit married, and you will, after you go on the show, whether you at the end you choose to stay married or get divorced, you'll never be able to check that single box again on any application ever in your life. It'll either be married or divorced.
Yeah, there's no annulment.
Yeah,
Wow. This is so
that's how
wild.
they get the people that are fully committed to it. You know, it's not just made for TV
Right.
where whatever. Like this is on. You are considered divorced if you're not on it. If you don't go through with it.
That's so interesting. I have one question though. I do have one.
Can I ask one before you ask the one you're going to ask? I know what you're going to ask.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
So it'll be a good lead into Nick's because I have
Okay.
no idea what I was going to ask. So you have 20 people per side at the wedding. Let's say half of them are family, so that you have 10 other friends at the wedding, right? Like thereabouts, like that are not really,
Yeah.
like, they're not friends. So, like, did any of them hook up? Not
Yeah.
Okay.
We had friends of at
Yeah.
our wedding that ended up having sex before we did.
Oh yeah.
How did
We're like,
that
oh, we're
happen?
glad someone had sex on our wedding night.
Wait a second.
Oh,
Yeah, we
see,
got
that's
the
what I was
text
going to
the next morning.
ask. That's what I was
So
going to ask.
wait. So you had friends that hooked up before how did they know how did that happen before the wedding? Like they ran off into the bathroom?
No,
Before the
before-
wedding, that night
night
after
of
the
the
wedding.
That night.
The night of the wedding.
Wow.
But it was funny because I got the text. All I heard was the rumor that one of my friends hooked up with one of her friends. Now, in my head, I'm assuming, because most of my guests were my guy friends or fraternity brothers, that one of my guy friends fucked one of her girlfriends. And now, because a lot of my guy friends are scumbags, I'm going to have to hear about this for the rest of my life. Now, on my wedding night, my friend fucked her friend and then never called her again. And this is just going to set the tone. Well, much to my pleasure, come to find out, it was one of her guy friends that got with one of my girlfriends. So I was in the clear.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
wow.
like, no, he's my guy friend, your girlfriend.
Yeah, one of your guy friends that got with one of my girlfriends.
It
Oh
was
my
so
God.
funny.
And did they get married the next day or what?
No, but they lasted quite a few months.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Bonus.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to your wedding night. Nothing. Sexually. Nothing.
It was
Oh my
it was
God, we
a
were
16-hour
so
day of
tired.
filming. Yeah,
Okay.
we hit that bed after the cameras left, and I think we had pillow talk for maybe a half hour before we fell asleep mid-sentence. We couldn't have even have stayed up if we tried to. It was 16 or 18 hours of filming that day, plus a couple bottles of bourbon on my end.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when was the
Yeah.
first time?
Nick needs a time. He needs a day. He needs the specifics.
Yeah.
That's how he rolls.
Yeah.
You don't have to say if you want to.
Let's say it's like the first week.
Okay, fair enough.
That's fine.
Fair enough.
That's fine.
Third what?
No, the first week.
Did you say week or day?
Ooh.
Week.
Oh, okay. I was thinking 3-day rule.
3 days. It counts.
Within the first week.
We
were the first ones on the show, apparently, too, of all the couples, because it's 4 couples. So
Okay.
the rumor was we were the first ones of all the couples.
To do
I don't know
it.
if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but
Well, you guys are still
We
together.
were married.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You guys are still together, so
Yeah.
I guess it's you're doing well.
it worked.
It works.
So what's the craziest thing that you think is about the entire situation besides the fact that you meet the day you meet, you all go get married? Like, besides that, what else is wild in the whole scenario of all of this? Is it like, are your parents now like, is it like traditional? Like, do they talk or do they sit around and be like, can you believe these kids, these fucking kids?
Our parents are good friends now. I mean, they're friends. They talk to each other probably more often than we talk to them. Her parents just a couple weeks ago went down. My parents live in Myrtle Beach. Her parents still live in Baltimore. They went down to Myrtle Beach to visit my parents. We were joking around because with our parents together, a lot of conversation was happening, and then it was sent back to us, and it's like playing telephone. The conversations get confused, so we decided that we can't ever leave the kids unsupervised again. But yeah, I mean, we're spending Christmas together in the Outer Banks, or my aunt and uncle as well with my parents, her family, renting a huge house in the Outer Banks to have a whole family Christmas together. So it's a great situation.
Did either of them, as you guys went through this, like sit you down and be like, we don't think this is a good idea, like you don't know what you're getting into, you're making a commitment, blah, 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 blah? Or did they just leave you out?
How were your parents with that? My parents didn't like the idea up until they met Steph.
So until it was too late, literally they didn't like it until it was too late.
I'm an only child.
Right.
So
Same.
my parents have been together since 6th grade. They got married right out of high school, still married to this day. So my mother was very upset that she didn't know the girl I was marrying. She didn't have a chance to give her approval or disapproval, or even in her own head make a decision. Like, she was completely blind to the facts. My parents and I are very, very close. So she was very concerned about that she had zero idea or zero input or anything. But once she met Steph, that weight came off of her and she felt a lot easier.
Yeah, I don't think my parents cared as much. They just know that I'm crazy. So they're like, as long as you're happy, Steph, we're going to support you no matter what you want to do.
I'm telling you, next time I go to Baltimore, I'm calling your dad.
Pretty damn well.
Yeah, I'm hanging out with your dad.
Oh, yeah, you should. Let me know. I'll come out there.
That's awesome.
I love
Captain Stan.
that city. Love that
So
city.
so I'm going to just throw an example on the table. You guys are out at a bar in random city, shooting the shit. You meet a couple at the bar, and like anything, a lot of times it'll come up like, oh, how'd you guys meet? Do you floor them? Do they pass out when you tell them how you guys
We
met?
actually have a good story about that. We met some people in the Bahamas when we went after we were done filming. And we were sitting at the bar, and we hung out with this couple for days. They became our new scuba diving buddies, and now they're friends of ours. And it wasn't until about the second or so.
They had no idea. We didn't tell them that we were on the show. They had zero. We were in a different country.
And so the bartender starts looking at us, and another person came over, and he was awkwardly asking me for ketchup. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, there's ketchup at a table closer to you. Why do you have to
He walked
ask for my
past 5
ketchup?
bottles of ketchup to come to the one that was sitting next to us.
Just to get a good look at us, to make sure he knew who we were. He finally
His
was
girlfriend
like,
sent them.
you're from that show, Married at First Sight. And we're like, yeah, we are. You got us, blah, blah, blah. And so then they have to take a picture. And so our friends that we met that whole week look at us like so confused. Wait a minute.
Like, you didn't tell us you were famous?
Who are you? And so then they start Googling us, and they were like, I can't believe we've spent all this time with you the past 2 days, and we had no idea who you were.
That's funny.
That's unbelievable.
It was great.
It's fun. I mean, I joke around, and I always say, I'm 15% famous. I completely understand it doesn't take talent to get on reality TV. I'm a D-list celebrity at best. But it's funny. So I try not to, and Steph's the same way. We don't go around telling everybody and bragging about it. I don't say we avoid it, but we're not going to openly bring it up. If people ask, we'll talk about it, but we know that as soon as somebody asks, it's going to be a long conversation.
Right.
So if we're at a bar and someone asks us, prepare for at least 3 or 4 drinks.
Do you guys laugh when someone is like, oh, yeah, we've been together for 13 years and we got engaged last year. We're going to get married in 2.5 years in Palm Springs. Do you literally laugh and be like, oh, you guys suck?
I always ask them, like, wait, so you've known your wife before you married her? I'm like, this is fucking weird, bro.
Yeah, fuck
and
you.
Just look at me with the, huh?
That's amazing. I've had a longer relationship with a box of Oreos.
Yeah, exactly.
It's currently happening.
AJ's favorite cookie.
I can't get enough Oreos. It's ridiculous.
I think
they keep
make
upping
them,
the game with Oreos.
Yeah, it's really, this is such a weird segue we're going to, but like literally you eat Oreos and like it's like an addiction. Like you're like, wow, that was so good. Let me do this again, and then it just keeps happening. You're like, why? And even like your body's like, hey, why are you doing this? You're like, I don't know. It's so good. You just keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Oreos and milk are my downfall. That is my one go-to if Steph ever needs to butter me up or apologize or anything in between. Oreos and milk. One day I sat down years ago. I ate an entire, like, all 3 sleeves and like half a gallon of milk in one sitting.
Oh, I could do that. That's easy.
You know, there might have been some munchies involved, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, that's some serious shit right there.
Have you had the you guys go to Trader Joe's ever?
Oh yeah, I do. I love it there.
Trader Joe's?
Yeah. They have their version of the Oreo cookie that only comes out once a year. That's the it's like the candy cane inside the filling. So it basically tastes like a oh my god, it's the best.
I can't do the fancy shit. It's double stuff all day. That's it.
Really?
Like, I've tried the other ones.
I was gonna ask like if you like the fancy ones at all.
I do like the fancy ones, and then they go and they fuck you with these thin ones, making you think that it's only. But then you just eat the same amount. Really, they're just thinner. You just have more of them. It's bullshit, and it's probably worse anyway.
And they're not as satisfying.
No, not nearly as satisfying.
So let's AJ, let's talk about your book.
Okay.
Tell us about it.
Yeah. So I'm a career recruiter. I've been in staffing and outside sales. I started my career and then transitioned into staffing, but pretty much my entire career. So I don't know, 5-6 years ago, I've always recruited in IT and higher level positions. But there's a lot of people out there when you post a job that use what I jokingly call the spray and pray method, where they will apply to every job that's on the page, whether they're qualified or not.
Just interject for a second. Nick's version of spray and pray is totally different.
Oh no, I know that version. That's why I joke around and call this.
I'm
this
sorry.
is a professional version of spray and pray.
Yeah, I'm sorry to
like
that.
Spray and pray.
Yeah, I just had to. But anyway,
I'm not a professional, but I'm close. Anyway, go ahead.
I was wondering if you guys were going to pick up on that. But,
of course.
We're comedians.
So yeah, they spray and pray their resume, and I would get some fucking outlandish resumes for 150, 200K plus year jobs that are experienced 7 to 10 years, director positions. And, I got these resumes. That guy was an interior painter, and he couldn't even spell painter right, so he called himself a panter. It's like try panting for just 30 seconds. You're going to be lightheaded. Imagine doing that shit all day for 8 hours. So, like, I started collecting these resumes that would come in, and I didn't know why I was collecting them. I would always show them to my friends just because they were so unbelievable. Before you knew it, I had a vanilla folder of about 150 resumes after about 3 or 4 years of this. So one day, one of my friends was like, "Hey, you should turn them into a coffee table book." And I'm like, that's a good idea. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going to turn it into a book. It doesn't happen like that. You don't just put pages in a book. So it finally came into fruition, and I reached out to a friend of mine who owns a consulting company. They've never published a book before. So between myself that had all the content and the material, I connected with an internet guru that handled the website and all the back end. A graphic designer who created the book electronically and put it into a PDF format so we could send it to the printer. I collaborated with a comedic writer to take my stories and punch them up a little bit. And completely independently, without the help of a publisher or any type of self-publishing site, we managed to create a book. And it is just a book of all these funny resumes There's 2 illustrators that we had help us out. That there's 50 illustrations in the book that they collaborate with the stories, and also there's 20 stories in the resume. In the book, because not every, I have a story of, one of them's called Urinating Eugene. Guy pissed his pants in the middle of an interview in my office.
No. Are you kidding?
No, oh yeah, 100%. Like wearing khakis, full on wet spot on his leg. So there's, all the everybody's got every chapter has its own funny name. Renaissance Ronnie, Urinating Eugene, Salad Barber, Template Tammy, Referential Rick. There's 50 of all these small stories, and it's one of those books that you pick up and you just want to keep turning because they're so outlandish you can't believe it. But at the same time, it makes the light bulb turn on where you realize there's shit that you should never do during an interview or you should never put on your resume. So it also is a self-help book by teaching you what not to do and do deductive reasoning. Hopefully, you should figure out what to do.
Like not pee your pants in the middle of an interview.
Yeah, do not piss your pants. Because he told me, he said that after I saw it, I said, you need to excuse yourself. Because I thought to myself, I said, did I give him a bottle of water? Maybe there was condensation and he just set it on his lap. And I realized none of that had happened. So, you need to excuse myself. And he said, yeah, I'm so embarrassed. I thought that asking to excuse myself in the middle of an interview would be rude. And I looked at him dead in the face and I said, no, pissing your pants in the middle of an interview is rude. So
wait, did he come back?
He went to the bathroom. No, hell no. I wasn't expecting him to. I was making sure my carpet was dry. So he gets up and he goes to the bathroom, and the bathroom is centrally located in the office, so there's an entrance on both sides of the office. And he went in one door, and I'm guessing he went out the other side and just hopped in the elevator, never to be heard from again.
Did you have to ask him permission to put that resume in the book?
No, I've redacted all types of identifying information because the one thing I want to do is these people are legitimately trying to get a job. I don't knock them for that. Right. I do knock their method. As a recruiter, sifting through 50% of resumes that are completely unqualified because people do this. We hate it, but they're actively searching for a job. So I'm not trying to knock them for doing that. So I didn't want to put any identifying information and make them feel bad or make them feel like they should stop doing that if that's what they're doing.
Just peeing in the interview process.
That's
incredible. I did like CIA style redactions, like it's black lines, like like
God, that's incredible. That is incredible.
I would have sent them to Penn's.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good stories in it. This shit, you just don't believe it until you read it, and it's all firsthand. I mean, they're all my stories. None of them are third party or I didn't reach out to or look on the internet. This is all shit that has happened to me throughout my career, and it is fucking unbelievable.
That's wild, dude. I got to read this thing. God damn it. I love stories like that. They give me anxiety, and I kind of like it a little bit, because it's not me, but still you feel for the person. You're like, why are they doing this?
And then the illustrations also add to it. I mean, as I say, I'm a D-list reality TV celebrity, so I figured if I'm bottom of the barrel star status, I might as well write a bottom of the barrel book, which is a coffee table book. I didn't write a novel here. It doesn't take a lot of education to write a coffee table book.
Just good pictures and funny stories.
That's it. So,
yeah, that's all it is. You want to turn to the next page, but it's going to take you 30 seconds or 45 seconds to read the story. So if you have to put it down, it's great for coffee tables at home or for conversation pieces in the office, just anywhere really, for recent grads, graduation presents. www.howtonotgethired.com.
Perfect.
Stephanie, what's your book going to be about?
Oh, God.
How to Train a Husband.
Yeah.
Is there going to be pictures?
How to Not Get a Divorce will be my next one.
Perfect. So what's we're going to wrap up here in a little bit, but I want to ask, so what's next for you guys? What are you guys doing? Kids? Question mark?
We do.
Okay.
We just want to wait a little bit to try to get to know each other first a little more.
See if it takes.
Makes sense.
Our first year of marriage, we traveled a lot. We took 6 vacations. We managed to see 11 different countries in our first year of marriage.
Wow. Well done, Steph.
So,
I'm a big traveler. It's my hobby, and I like to do it all the time. So AJ was dragged along on multiple trips.
You ever go to
So-
Jersey?
Australia, Africa, Belize, Bahamas.
I used to live in
scuba
Jersey, actually.
Where? What part? What exit?
Marlton.
Where's that?
Cherry Hill.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say Cherry Hill because you
South
live
Philly.
in Philly. Yeah, you live in
Yeah.
Philly. You're from Baltimore.
Yeah.
I love the Baltimore and like Philly, like the accent when you say like say home.
Home.
Home. I love it.
You're my home.
I love it.
I make fun of her for that shit all the time. When she
Dude,
says no,
right?
she's like, no.
Yeah. Dude, like
I grew up in New Jersey, and I get so much shit from my kids. They'll literally just sit on a word for like a day because I'll say like wrong, and they'll like make fun of me for hours, for days.
What, did your kids talk like you, though?
No, they're Connecticut assholes.
born and raised in Fairfield, Connecticut, so they don't get the Jersey thing.
They're not going to listen to this. That's fine.
Fairfield, I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah, I spent. It's so interesting because like I spent the first half of my life. Well, I was in Westchester, so I was like in Mamaroneck, and then I moved to Connecticut. But there's so many kids from Long Island that come up here for college, and I'm like, why? Like, why did you come to Connecticut?
Wait, so AJ, you spent the time at Fairfield U. So question, like the burning question is, how often have you gone to the Sea Grape?
The Sea Grape?
That's the
I don't know. I remember the catwalk, if we're talking about the same.
Oh, in New
industry.
Haven. No, that's the strip club in New Haven. I know what you're talking about. But
Yeah.
but no, the Sea Grape is Fairfield U Bar. It's here in Fairfield. And it's like the bar.
yeah, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
No,
It's like the
I
college
never
hotel.
really went downtown or out Fairfield. We would spend time on campus.
Oh, you spent
Yeah,
time on
we would go
campus.
there. We would go up to I guess it's really Quinnipiac, but we used to call it Quick in the Sack.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I
we
like
stayed away
that.
from Bridgeport because Bridgeport University is basically just training people for jail anyway, so we stayed away from there.
You know, there's been kind of like a renaissance around here, man. UB is pretty dope now. It's pretty
Is it
beautiful.
really? Yeah,
Swear
they
to
had
God.
bars on the window because I used to take the ferry over. That's why to answer your question, that's why a lot of people from Long Island go to college in Connecticut because you can take the Port
ferry.
Jeff ferry right into Bridgeport rather than have to drive all the way around. It's a lot easier to get back and forth.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I never even thought about
So
that.
that's a lot of people either go to Quick in the Sack or UNH or Fairfield.
God, that's wild.
Yeah, we don't mind. It's a nice place.
It's okay. Connecticut's cool.
Just bus loads of blonde girls from different places.
Yeah.
I don't know where.
Hopefully from Philly or Baltimore.
I feel like
they
I'm
have
going to
that
have a lot
accent.
of questions about college when this phone hangs up. I put my foot in my mouth this time.
Yeah.
Wait, so
you did.
actually, the
that's okay.
you guys can debate this after we're done. But you're a New Haven college guy, so who's the pizza place of choice?
Oh, man.
Ooh.
There's really only one right answer. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, I was never really big on pizza in Connecticut. I only eat pizza in New York. Even here in Philly, I
Yes.
can't find good pizza.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you for saying that. Thank you. As someone who's
You
from
know,
New York,
it's-
like it's the New Haven pizza
Dude,
is bullshit.
you're from New York. Mamaroneck is 3 miles from Connecticut.
Oh, I don't care how close it is. The pizza's different and it's better.
Yeah, the pizza is 100% different.
Don't care about this fucking. Oh, it's thin. Great.
No, it's not thin. Anyway, so I just thought I would ask.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
mean to
didn't-
start off like a whole war over pizza.
Oh, I'll go there.
I know you will.
I mean, I was a big fan of Krauser's. I mean, we used to just go get hoagies at Krauser's. I wasn't big on pizza. It was right down Boston Post Road right there.
Steph, can you say hoagies, please? Say it again.
Hoagies.
Yes. God, what
I
an
don't know if there's
accent.
another way to say it.
That's the name of the
I
episode.
dated a girl from
whenever
Philly,
I
so
adapt.
that's
I call
good.
them heroes, but if once you're from New York, nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. They're like, a hero? Like the guy on TV? I'm like, no.
Talking about Avengers or some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I went to college in Boston, and they called them grinders.
Which is now
Grinders,
Greg's.
yeah.
Now
Hoagies,
it's
grinders, heroes.
I only called it a hero. I never knew what a fucking grinder was.
yeah. Now that's Greg's
I didn't
favorite
know
app.
what it was until I moved to Philly.
Really?
Yeah, we don't have grinders in Baltimore.
What do you have in Baltimore? You got row homes and what else?
Yeah. A lot of rooftop decks and crabs.
Do you have a favorite steak and cheese place down there in Philly?
Geno's or
Oh,
Pat's?
no.
What are we talking?
Oh,
Neither.
well,
Come on.
See, I've heard that, but
they're
I've
both
also
touristy, but I
Okay.
like Pat.
Pats really. I like Geno's.
They're both tourist traps.
That's what I've
My
heard.
problem with them is, you know how when food's made good, you can almost taste the love in it.
Yeah,
Like you could taste that it was prepared
yeah.
with people that like what they're doing.
Right.
It's just mass produced for the market there. Like the steaks just sitting in 5-pound piles on the grill. Like it's just
true,
there's no
dude.
love.
But
It's
that's
true.
part of the Philly experience. Is if you don't know what you're going to order, get to the back of the fucking line. Have your money ready. Know what you want. That's where people go.
For real.
That's a Philly attitude.
Yeah, no, but that's how
That's
it is.
right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Campos fan. I love Campos. Campos is my hands down. I like the bread. I like the meat. I like the style. Everything.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I one time came down with a buddy and we did a Philly steak and cheese tour. We hit all of them.
Yes.
Consecutively, like one by one by one by one. So at the end of like 4 hours, I had 11 steak and cheeses.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
It was not all, I didn't eat full, but we tasted like 11. It was insane.
Yeah,
And-
you tasted them. You didn't eat 11 steak and cheese.
Yeah, no. And those two, Pat and the other one, Geno's, whatever, Pat's and Geno's,
Yep.
Yeah.
they definitely were bottom compared to some of the other places. And I don't remember all of
Yep.
them
Yeah.
that I went to, but one of them was fucking outstanding. And it was like a place that no one even like knew, but somehow it was on like the 11 steak and cheese tour you have to hit in Philadelphia. I don't remember which one it was.
Ishka Bibbles makes usually headlines. I haven't had their steaks, though, but they're always ranked pretty high.
Yeah.
All right.
That was one in the airport.
Did you say Ishka Bibbles?
Mm-hmm.
Weird word.
My grandmother
I
used to
know.
say that. I don't know why. She used to like use it as a term. I forget for what, but I never heard that in years.
Mine too.
Ishka Bibbles, yeah.
All right, so we're coming up on it. This was insanely interesting.
Yeah, very
and
interesting.
Really fun. You guys are awesome, and I could talk to you for probably 20 more hours.
Yeah.
we may do a series.
Thanks for having
Hey,
us.
I'm good with that.
No, but this was
Keep a
really
fun.
lookout, too. We're hoping to get some more, follow-ups for it's the 10th season now for Married at First Sight. So we're
Wow.
hoping for a reunion or something like that coming up. So keep an eye out. You may see us again.
Oh, we definitely will. We're going to keep in touch for sure.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have to come down to Philly and just do this in person. One-on-one.
We'll show you around a good time.
We'll all get together, put some
Just
back.
let us know when your dad's going to be up, because I think that'll be the weekend we'll come down.
Yes. I love that.
We'll bring our own whiskey. Just make sure there's enough in Philly. Doesn't run out.
There we go.
But this was a lot of fun. We really appreciate you guys coming on. And if there's anything besides your book you guys want to just throw out there and plug, by all means, like, let's get it out there. If you want to mention your social handles or stuff you want people to follow, just start rambling it all off.
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and Twitter as Silly Steph. So you can follow me there. There's also DJ_Matt with our couples account, which we post some stuff up there. And then AJ, you want to say yours?
Yeah, my Instagram is AJ_Vollmuller, VOLLMOELLER. If you just type in AJV, it'll be the first one that pops up. And then I don't really tweet too much. The book it does have its own Facebook page, How to Not Get Hired, at Facebook.com. And it is in the process of getting its own Instagram page right now, which will also be How to Not Get Hired, will be the handle for Instagram.
Awesome, and we'll make sure we plug all that stuff when we post the episode in the notes and everything. So again, we want to thank you. I'll thank you for Nick.
Yeah, for
Say
sure.
thank you.
No, I was about
you,
to,
guys.
you fucking idiot.
No, this was a lot of fun. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect, but this was awesome. You guys are easy to talk to. A lot of fun. I could keep this conversation going for a while if the time allowed for it. But I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
We'll definitely come down. I love Philly as well. I got friends there, so when I come down, we'll reach out.
And if you guys are ever up in New York, in the city, just let us know, and we'll go see some comedy and make fun of ourselves in front of you for a while.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right, guys. Thank you very
Sounds
much.
like a plan.
All right, gentlemen. Have
Thank
a good
you.
night.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.